Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for a daily dose of comics drama. Action Lab, we're going to do a follow-up on a beleaguered comic book publisher Action Lab. They're being sued. Class action lawsuit.
I just like that. I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the beleaguered. I like that. That was fun. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, now they are from the Pittsburgh area. We've actually seen them quite a bit at local cons. And
those are the ones that got your name wrong, right?
Yeah. They got, yeah. We actually, it's so weird. Years ago, we actually approached them about doing Shadowbinders monthly.
Well, thank God they said no.
Thank God they said no. And this was probably 8 or 10 years ago, about reformatting the comic for monthly. And yeah, they wrote me back and they're like, "Dear Pratt or something like that was my name. You know, Dear Pratt, how you doing?" I'm like, I'm fine there, random intern. I'm great. Yeah, so we dodged that bullet.
Thankfully, but a lot of people didn't, and it's a problem.
It's a huge problem. So we're going to talk about the follow-up. ICV2 has it. Got to give a hat tip to our insider. Not going to name you, but everybody's covering this now. And then we're going to go out to the page here that this has been filed. 39 creators.
Right. We've been talking about this before, as we showed you another image. This is not new, but now it's escalated.
It has escalated. So all the promises of, hey, we're going to take care of this. We're going to take care of you. Action Lab, basically, when the pandemic happened, as I understand it, they pretty much went radio silent and just like stopped publishing.
For a few months, yeah.
Stopped publishing books, stopped paying creators. Now, a lot of publishers went through tough times, but at least they communicated to their staff, put your pencils down, we're broke. You know, in this case, it was just like, yep, nobody knows what's going on. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 256,000 subs. Yay! Thank you so much for the support. We do talk about the comic book industry, having worked in and around comics for a number of years. And we publish our own comics. Don't publish through Action Lab. You can go to shopclownfish.com if you want to buy some of our current graphic novels, and we're working on a whole bunch more. We're getting there.
See how you got that little ad in there. Okay.
Yeah, right.
So yeah, now this is very, it's very upsetting the whole way around, because you never want to see an independent comic publisher run into trouble, because, you know, the big ones usually run everything, and that's always a problem. But you don't want to see creators get screwed even more. And that's what apparently happened. So I'll let you take it.
Yeah, so this is Bridget Alverson for ICV2. She is actually one of the best comics journalists out there, and she's pretty even keel about things. Of course, ICV2, we've said it multiple times. I know other YouTubers have talked about them too. They are one of the few remaining comic book blogs that deal strictly with numbers, and they don't get all political.
They try to keep it objective.
Yeah, so this is this is what happened. So creators sue Action Lab, allege fraud and breach of contract. That's a class action lawsuit. A group of 39 comic book creators has filed a class action suit against Action Lab Entertainment and Brian Seaton, who lists himself as the CEO publisher of Action Lab in his LinkedIn page. The suit was filed on January 31st in U.S. District Court, Middle District of Pennsylvania. Again, Pittsburgh publisher. Yeah. Come on, you're doing Pittsburgh dirty. Don't do that. Alleges fraud and breach of contract and asks for both monetary damages from Action Lab and punitive damages from Seaton. The complaint states that Action Lab's agreements with creators promised that their works would be published in print, not just digitally. And that's what they basically stopped publishing comics.
They've been putting them digitally, but not in print.
Right.
Okay.
The Action Lab would actively promote their work, and that creators would be provided with quarterly sales reports. In fact, the plaintiffs allege Action Lab failed to do any of these things, and as a result, some creators were never paid the royalties they were owed. Furthermore, the suit says Action Lab kept creators in the dark about production delays, hampering their own marketing efforts and leaving them out of pocket for expenses.
Well, yeah, a lot of these publishers, you have to promote your own stuff, but apparently in their contract, I haven't seen the contracts, so I can't speak to the contracts, but they must have said that they would do some promotion, but most people do their own promotion. And then how are you supposed to promote something if you don't know it's delayed?
Right. That's the thing. My understanding is the lack of communication was the biggest issue. Like, nobody knew what the hell was going on.
Right. So they can't even do their own marketing for a project because they don't know where it is. And if they did start marketing a project based on the word of the company that they were going to release it at a certain date, that doesn't come out, everybody's mad at them.
Yeah. They said they failed to do the bare minimum to drum up retailer support. Again, this is a problem in comics anyway, because it seems like the publishers are putting the onus on creators to drum up support. Now, if you're an Image Comics creator and it's your property, that's one thing. If you're work for hire or this is a company thing, I do believe it is the responsibility of the publisher.
Well, to be fair, a lot of the graphic novel, especially like the middle grade novel publishers, unless it's in your contract, they don't do jack crap to market you.
No, this is true. In fact, a lot of people will tell you if you get a deal with like a Scholastic or somebody like that, unless it's in your contract, that they will promote you. Like I guarantee you, Raina Telgemeier and Dave Pilkey have, in their contracts, they have.
Well, given by who, her agent is, I know for a fact that it's going to be in the contract.
Yes. So that's not going to be the case for some random person they just picked up and gave a $15,000
unless somebody asks for it, and
you can.
Yes. So if you're doing a contract with a publisher, be it like Action Lab publisher or like a big publisher like Scholastic, make sure you have an agent that they'll get it in there. If not, make sure you get it in there that they're going to do some of the sales promotion. Yeah. Because if it's not in the contract, they aren't required to do it.
They'll actually tell you if you treat graphic novel, now this is a different thing, but if you treat graphic novels from like a major publisher as you would treat a book deal, a standard book deal, they actually will tell you, take like half of your advance and put that back into promotion on your books, because you're going to get royalties, and the sooner your book earns out,
the faster you get money.
But this is again, we're dealing with floppy comics in the direct market, and this is a totally different thing.
Sorry, we often finish each other's
sentences.
Sandwiches.
I'm sorry. What am I thinking about?
Tacos.
Yeah, you did get that one right. All right. Several creators allege when they tried to get their rights back, Action Lab responded by demanding large sums of money, which it claimed was repayment for Diamond's expenses or the cost of promoting the books.
Oh.
Okay. So, this one's tricky though. This one's tricky because depending on the contract.
That's what I'm saying. We don't have the contract.
Tokyo Pop. I know, for example, they would give advances, and they had a lot of creators, crap on them back in the day, saying it was a predatory contract or whatever. They would give an advance of like $20,000 or $25,000, and the book had to earn out to get the money back, right? If you wanted to take your project someplace else, and they stopped publishing people's, creator-owned stuff, they're like, because it was a I forget, like 60-40 split or something. I forget what the deal was exactly. And I think it varied from creator to creator. But I know like Chuck Austin tried to take his book and he was told he had to basically pay back the advance to get the rights back. That was the contract. And I believe that was the contract. And if you signed that contract and you went into it eyes open, people don't understand, like, even if it's your creation, if you sign a bad contract, or if you sign a contract that says that this company can basically hold your stuff hostage until you pay them back the advance, kind of like a pawn shop, I mean, that's what you sign.
Right. And then some publisher companies, after a year or 2 years, you get your property back anyway. But yeah, in that case, you did agree that they paid you $30,000. You don't get your stuff back until they get their $30,000 back. So, it is what it is. Without seeing contracts, we can't say. So that's not completely unusual.
Yeah. So the lawsuits also allege in late 2019, defendant Seaton apparently stepped away from his duties at Action Lab without telling creators and left Sean Pryor in charge of daily operations.
We talked about that before.
Then the suit alleges that Seaton told the creators Pryor was incapable of handling the company and had left in January of 2020. Several times after that, God, this just gets better and better. Several times after that, Seaton said he was about to step down, but the lawsuit alleges he's still running the company. They said they had like a board of directors and all that stuff, which they might if they're a corporation. After this list of general allegations, the individual plaintiffs set out their complaints of late payments, missing or inaccurate financial statements, delayed print releases, mismanaged digital marketing, interference with outside contracts, and poor production quality.
See, the thing is, if it's just one or two people saying that, they could be like, oh, they're just mad. But when you have 39?
39. On 3 separate accounts, the suit requests the court find Action Lab in breach of their contracts, declare the contracts null and void, and award monetary damages from Action Lab and punitive damages from Seaton. Now, this actually can happen. I will tell you from firsthand experience. Sometimes you sign a contract that is so egregiously unfair that sometimes the court will actually look at and be like, yeah, this is a bullshit, unenforceable contract, or especially in the area of non-compete clauses, because they're like, you basically signed papers saying that you can't work in your field anywhere for a number of months or years. So you can't work. Like, that's stupid. You know, that's stupid. And, you know, non-competes especially were designed to protect the company from valuable employees leaving and starting their own thing and competing directly with their former employer, or leaving and going to the competition. If you fire the employee, which there have been cases like that, and they had a non-compete, you can't just like fire them and then they're not allowed to work anywhere. That's actually not legal. Non-competes have been abused for a while. Action Lab was founded in 2010. It's been through several restructurings in just 10 years. One in 2015, when President Kevin Freeman stepped down and was replaced by Action Lab co-founder David Dwanch. In 2017, another co-founder, Sean Pryor, returned to the company as president of creative relations. I would not want that job right now. And Dwanch stepped back from his position as president of marketing and development. So this is not good. There's a 46-page complaint. This is coming from classaction.org. This is not good. And I don't even know where they would go from here. Like, if the creators won, like, can you get blood out of this stone? Because I don't know if they have any money.
That's what I'm wondering too.
That's what the whole problem is.
I think that's what I'm wondering.
I don't think they have any money.
So they said that the Uniontown, Pennsylvania offices were intermittently closed between December 2019 and spring of 2021. And they failed to print a large number of projects.
Yeah.
The plaintiffs, who include the creators of Harold, Lovecraft and Tesla, Raven the Pirate Princess, was it Archon, Battle of the Dragon, Bigfoot, Sword of the Earthman, Baby Badass, Aberrant, among other titles, assert that the content creators publishers agreement were unconscionable and should therefore be declared null and void, which can occur if it legitimately is.
I am wondering, I don't know the legality of it, but I have to wonder if they won't just like file for Chapter 11 and be like,
now you all get nothing.
You get nothing.
Which is really shitty because these people haven't got anything anyway.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, that's the thing, and companies do this, and unfortunately, I've actually worked for companies before where they were like, oh yeah, we're going bankrupt, so
but if
sorry.
they do that, then that's all, but I don't know, I think that's why they're going after him too, because he, as president, he could do that and be like, you're SOL, except they're going after him too. So if the company's SOL, then they go after him personally. So then maybe they're doing that to make sure they don't turn around and do that. I'm wondering in some way.
You know, the easiest thing to do, and some creators did get their rights back. The easiest thing to do if you're in a case like this is just turn everybody loose and just be like, you know what? I'm letting you out of your contract. Because we don't have any money.
Yeah, but that still doesn't pay them.
No. But
the company made money.
But at least you're not holding their stuff hostage either. Right. Be like, we can't publish your stuff. I'm sorry. We're out of money.
This has been going on long enough, and people have been complaining long enough that something could have been reached. Yeah.
Yeah, there could have been an agreement. And I'm sure there probably were attempts to reach agreements. I know that the one zombie book, I don't remember off the top of my head what it was, but I guess he got his rights back and he was able to, and I would do that too. I'd be like, fine, whatever. I'm willing to take the loss. Just give us our rights back so we can go take our stuff someplace else.
Right. But now there's 39 people. 39 people. I mean, it's got to be pretty bad.
So they talked to Bleeding Cool in 2021, Seaton responding to a surge in comments.
Yeah, I know on Twitter they were really calling them out.
Refuted complaints about late and missing payments, poor publishing plans, and a general lack of communication from Action Lab. He pinned the general uncertainty surrounding the company's operations on COVID, which, to be fair, did affect a lot of companies.
It did, but they said there was problems before.
Yeah, yep. And he said he had to step away from personal health reasons. So they tried to reopen in July 2020. They were unable to do so. I mean, look, it sounds to me like this has been going on for years, and there probably have been multiple attempts to get them to do something. And I think a lot of people could understand if, hey, because of the pandemic, we're going to push publishing back, 4 or 5 months.
Well, just right here. The case claims Action Lab's apparent failure to follow through on its contractual promises started long before the pandemic, which is what we just said.
Yep.
Defendant contracts and contractors represented that the company would put individuals' work into print as opposed to releasing it digitally. Moreover, the handbooks provided each creator promised Action Lab would not only release their works in print, but promote the market and properties, report sales and income figures, draw up retailer support, and stay in communication, which we talked about.
Yep.
But they said this was happening prior to the pandemic, they're claiming.
Yeah, I've noticed that the pandemic has become a catch-all for like failing businesses. Mm-hmm. Like there were businesses that were failing before the pandemic, and they're like, "Well, must be COVID."
You can't hold me accountable for crap. It's the pandemic.
The pandemic. It's wow. Even though my business really doesn't have anything to do with that,
and I was doing shitty things before the pandemic. It's the pandemic.
The pandemic. Yeah, and the lack of communication. As a result of being kept in the dark about publishing delays, content creators were forced to resort to fruitlessly spending money out of their own pockets to promote and market their work.
Right, because how is anybody going to know about it if nobody's talking about it?
So I have to, again, I have not seen these contracts, but it sounds to me like most of these creators were on a back-end deal where they only really would recoup their time investment if they sold X number of books.
Right. So, well, I mean, even if any contract, you have to sell somebody books to earn out. So I don't know. The whole thing's a mess. Like I said, short of seeing contracts, we can't really say exactly what's in those contracts and what's what here because we haven't seen them. But this is why you always get a lawyer to go over contracts. But I think even if you had at this point, that doesn't make the company you're working for keep up their end of the deal. Yeah.
So, they did release some of the books digitally, but they wouldn't provide Comixology numbers. Convention sales never appear on record. So, yeah, I mean, look, I know that they put in an appearance, or they did.
A lot of conventions.
They do a lot of conventions.
They did.
At least on the East Coast, because we would run into them
all the time.
All the time. And
they were we just think Baltimore. They were Baltimore. We were
Pittsburgh.
There. Pittsburgh. I'm trying to think. We've been to so many different ones. I don't remember, but I know I'm trying to remember. We've been to so many different ones, but I know we'd see them on the East Coast.
Oh, all over the place. Yeah, they were.
So,
and if they're selling the majority of their books via convention sales, and those aren't being recorded.
Well, they're not recorded, so they're basically just pocketing the money and saying, "Oh, we don't have a record of that. Whoopsie."
Yeah, what might have been smarter for them to do, honestly, is just work for hire and just be like work for hire and then bonuses if you hit X number of sales.
Well, I'm really glad that they sent the Dear Pratt letter.
Dear Pratt.
And we never ever even remotely went there because it sounds like a cluster. Yeah. And I already kind of had suspicions because some of the people they were picking up had very opinionated agendas. So I already kind of knew that there was some weirdness there. So, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't, I mean, look, I'm going to be completely honest here. Now, granted, this, company started in 2010. You would be better off publishing your own stuff. You'd be better off crowdfunding your own stuff than dealing with this because it sounds like you're paying all your own expenses anyway.
Right. You're just you're literally paying for everything.
So what's the what I'm saying, if you're paying for everything anyway, what, just because you have a freaking dog logo on the cover of your book that says, "Hey, I got published by this
company." And they take
company.
it to conventions for you.
Do it yourself.
But there's groups of people that are independent that get together and go take tables and stuff at conventions and sell and they bring their race books to the convention.
Yeah.
And they work together to buy tables and stuff. You can do that with your friends. You can even start your own company logo with your friends. If you wanted to. I mean, it's a lot of legal work you'd have to do, but I'm saying if you and like 10 of your friends want to start an imprint and go to conventions and stuff, you totally can do it. If you just make sure you get all your bases covered and you actually, trademark everything and all that, you can do it yourself.
Yeah, so here they have, I'll put a link in the description of the classaction.org. It's got the legal documents in here. A lot of creators. It's 41 on here now. So I think everybody is just kind of jumping on the bandwagon here. But yeah, it sounds like they signed a bad deal with a kind of a fly-by-night.
Yeah, it says 40 there. Yeah, nearly 40.
Yeah. So good luck to those creators. Again, without seeing their contracts, I can't tell you if they were actually breaking the law.
And you're assuming all the contracts are the same.
Because
I'm sure they're all different.
No, I'm sure most
a lot of them are.
Yeah, most publishers, depending on the project and I guess the amount of risk involved, it could either be that you're paying all your expenses and we'll do you the honor of distributing your stuff, or we're going to front you some money.
If some of them have an agent, they might have had a better contract than somebody else.
Right,
that kind of thing.
Right. So anyway, that is the latest on Action Lab. I think they are absolutely toast at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any coming back, and if it's all creator-owned stuff, I don't think they have any assets that are worth acquiring. people just take their stuff someplace else.
Yeah, this is gonna get interesting.
Go to IDW and you get burned over there too.
Well, it doesn't matter where you go at this point, it seems.
Yeah, so anyway, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.